We're talking about, of course, renaming some of these U.S. military bases, the possibility of that. I'm totally on board with it. Get these statues out of there, too. I don't want people that own slaves to be celebrated. And I'll even take it a step further. Why is it that there are no African Americans on any of our bills? Not a dollar bill, not a $2 bill. I've seen those floating around a little bit, or a 5 or a 10 or a 20 or a 100. Don't you think it's time to show African Americans a little bit of respect? How about Rosa Parks? How about Martin Luther King? Would it be that horrible to say, you know what, they deserve it for the change that they made? I would be totally on board with that. What do you say? 702-257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 257-5396. I have somebody told me that there's somebody on the line. His name is Lance, and he actually has a song prepared for us. We always love it when our callers entertain our listeners. Lance, are you there?
Yeah.
Lance, we would love to hear your song, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to make a... Okay, I'm
Go for it.
This song, it's about love, okay?
Love is a good thing.
It starts with an L and ends with an E, and right in the middle is an O and a V. It's love. What everybody's always thinking of. It's a four-letter feeling, it's a four-letter word. Four-letter feeling, it is often heard. It's a four-letter feeling, it's a four-letter sound. That four-letter feeling makes the world go round. It's love, what everybody's
See JD's face right now.
thinking of. It's love, what everybody's always dreaming of.
All right, all right.
You are way too talented.
Good
for your
job,
good.
good job, Lance. You know what, Lance? Since
Really, really good, Lance. Well
Lance,
done.
Since you
Good
did,
work.
Lance. Since
Can
you
I
did
make
such
a comment?
yes, I was just going to say I was going to give you a reward since you did such a good job with the song. Go ahead, Lance.
Loves controlling
What
the
was
powers.
your comment?
Get me a kosher corned beef. I'm a member of the tribe, too. Anyway.
All right. Hey, the Bagel Cafe, Lance, is one of the best places. I recommend
right.
it. Yes.
Anyway, please don't interrupt me. First, I got two quick things to say. First of
Quickly.
all, whether you believe it or not, it's a fact that President Trump has done more for black people than all the other presidents put together. Secondly, Senator Robert Byrd. Do you know about the Byrd?
I know about his clan relationships. Yes.
That's right, and he's got his name all over his state, right?
Which
We're
is a
talking about
joke.
hate.
Which
oh
is
my God.
Listen, let me make no mistake about it. Where did I say that only Republicans should be outed with their name? I never said that. Both sides of the aisle. I don't care what.
You didn't. I didn't imply that to you.
All right. Well, I mean,
that also changes the entire name of the Democratic Party.
Senator Byrd is a Democrat, and look at this guy.
He's a scumbag.
A big member of the Ku Klux Klan. And you talk about hatred, and his name is
Hillary
all
Clinton
hate.
has
Take
a good
his
relationship
name
with
off
him.
the state that he's in, all over the place. How about that?
I agree, Lance. I appreciate the call, and I appreciate the song.
He is dead, by the way.
Robert Byrd.
Yeah, he died in 2010.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He's dead.
I didn't know that.
But Hillary Clinton was very close with Robert Byrd, and if you want to talk about
what does Hillary have to do with it? Though? I don't understand.
She's supposed to be.
Donald Trump was friends with Epstein. Do I call Donald Trump a pedophile?
Bill
no.
Clinton is much closer friends with Epstein.
But
than
why
Donald
bring
Trump
that
is.
up? Why bring
Bill
up
Clinton,
Hillary?
there's a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress.
See, this is my problem.
In Epstein's place. I'm just saying he brought up Robert Byrd. I'm bringing Hillary Clinton was close with Robert Byrd.
All right. Well, with all due respect, you just gave a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Yes. Well, if you could let me explain. You don't even know what I'm going to say.
I do.
No, you don't. I just said Republican or Democrat. I don't care what your political affiliation is. If you have any associations with anything racist, if you've said racist terms, whether it's Byrd or Michelle Fiore, get out. I don't want you representing us. And then you have to inject, Hillary Clinton was friends with her. I'm just so sick of that stuff, man.
Well,
I'm just so sick of that stuff.
There's this narrative that
In your head,
the only political party that's even remotely racist is the Republican Party. And
Have I said that?
And I'm not talking about you. I'm saying in general there's this universal narrative that's taking place, and mention the fact that Hillary Clinton is close to Robert Byrd, and despite the fact of who he was, shows that most likely is not true. That's always there. It wasn't about you, Brian. It was about the rest of the country.
And I'm just talking about the entire country right now, just about you. I'm tired of when people say racism should not exist in this country, and then people want to make it political. Robert Byrd was a scumbag. I didn't even know he was dead, by the way. I'm happy he was dead because he was a Klan member. I don't care whether they have a D or an R next to their name. I don't care if these statues were part of were a part of the Republican or Democratic Party. What I know is that they're hateful people. That's all I care about. And why do we always have to make it political? Well, Hillary knew this person. Donald Trump knew this person. I just am frustrated with that. That's all. 702-257-5396. Can't we just say wrong is wrong? Let's go to Christian. Christian, you're next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Christian?
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
I just wanted to point out something in one of the videos that has been posted online everywhere about the 75-year-old man that was pushed to the floor. There's been a lot of speculation about that, and then comments made by Trump that he may be Antifa. If you watch the video, which they never point out in the media, in his left hand he is carrying a riot helmet that was dropped by a police officer, and he was bringing it back to them. It was never mentioned anywhere in any media.
Okay,
but that is what happened, and that is you can go watch it for yourself.
Okay, so that means he might have supported them. I
think this caller is supporting 75-year-old Martin Cugino, as saying that's why he was in the path of the police, because he was returning their helmet. Is that right,
that is
Christian?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misinterpreted what you were saying. I apologize. Well, I tell you what, if that's true, then listen, it doesn't surprise me. And the reason why I say that, sir, is because we had one of his friends on the show. He's not a member of Antifa. There's no evidence to support that. He wasn't waving his cell phone to get some signals off of a police scanner. That's also inaccurate. But the President of the United States wants to put forth a tweet basically attacking this man, going after him. And it is a disgrace that the White House and the press secretary, who you think is great, JD, is supporting the President of the United States, going on social media, attacking this man off of an OAN report with no evidence to back it up. Sir, I would imagine that you agree with me on that.
Yes. I mean, I'm irritated by a lot of stuff. I mean, as far as Republican or Democrat, there's faults on both sides. If you look at it, there's, people are selling stocks off when, the coronavirus hit.
Right.
We need to have investigations.
Accountability.
Exactly. Investigations for people that are getting rich in public office.
Agree.
There's a systematic failure of every level of what we're doing in government, not just the police, not if you're Republican or Democrat, voting party lines blindly to get laws passed that should never be passed because they're so stuck on being Democrat or Republican.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of Democratic politicians that have gotten very, very wealthy being career politicians, despite the fact that they're only making $150,000 a year. They have net worths in the 100 to 200 million. That's happened on a consistent basis. The thing about Donald Trump is, and one of the reasons why the Democrats don't like him so much, he made his own money. He has his own money. He can't be bought. He can't be lobbied against. He's worth a couple $1 billion. He has his own property all over the country. He has his own brands. He doesn't need to leverage the party to build himself up. He's not doing that at all. He's doing that because he legitimately thinks that the country needs to be saved. And I actually, based on what I've seen the last 7 months, it's hard for me to argue that. And at this point, when someone says conspiracy theory, like with this Martin Gugino video, I watched the video. I believe that asking questions is totally fine.
If you're the President of the United States.
Absolutely. Am I going to say that he is Antifa? No. But is it possible that after some research that could come up? Absolutely. So I have no problem asking that question, Brian.
All right. Well, I'll ask the question. Are you Antifa? Because it's about the same evidence that you're Antifa.
No, I did not go.
But that's ridiculous.
I wasn't. I'm not a 75. I didn't agitate a bunch of police officers, take my phone, put it on their belt, Brian, and then
put it on their belt.
And then get barely pushed and jump backwards. He literally jumped backwards.
No, I agree. It was fake blood. No, I agree with you.
I'm not saying that either, but you're making that association that I'm Antifa. No, I wasn't even involved in that, Brian.
I'm just asking a question.
That's such a false equivalent. That makes you can't even relate those two. They don't correlate at all,
just
Brian.
asking
You do
a
that a
question.
lot.
No,
you
I'm just
take
asking a question.
something. You take something that is totally irrelevant and you apply it to it, thinking that you made a
That's
good
what the
point, and you
president
don't make
did.
a good point.
That's
You do
what the
that.
president
No, Donald Trump asked questions. I agree with the questions that were asked. And right now, based on what's happened in the last 7 months, I really believe that conspiracy theorists aren't even a thing. Mm-hmm. Alex Jones is one of the smartest men in America right now.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
The things that he's been saying the last couple
now
of
we're
months.
Now we're going to defend Alex Jones?
Brian, I'm telling you, the things that, I mean, if you watch Alex Jones' show, Tucker Carlson's show is very similar to it the next day. The things Alex Jones has been saying the last couple of months are pretty much taking place right now verbatim. I'm not kidding. So if you think that being a conspiracy theorist is a bad thing right now, it is not. It is okay to ask questions considering what has happened the last 7 months in, coincidentally, an election year.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin with some of those comments. We'll take some calls, but I want to remind you that the fact that you're defending Alex Jones is disgusting. If I could just, I know you're gonna. What a shocker! You're gonna disagree.
I'm
with
not.
me.
I'm not.
If I could just,
I'm not defending Sandy Hook.
Jones is the Sandy Hook guy, right?
I'm not defending.
He said
Sandy
that was
Hook.
fake.
I was brought up about 20 minutes from Sandy Hook in Connecticut, where young children were shot and killed, and for months, up to a year, Alex Jones, who you are calling brilliant, decided. If I could finish, please.
I didn't say he was brilliant.
Yeah, you just said he was very smart.
I said he was. Mm-hmm. He's been spot on. He has been correct.
You called him intelligent.
The last couple of months.
Okay.
I think he is smart.
Okay,
yes.
so if
I didn't say he was brilliant.
Okay,
though.
okay, he's very smart. Okay, so tell me if it's very smart, after a massacre in an elementary school, to intentionally try to hurt families and to come up with a conspiracy theory, because that's exactly what it is, a conspiracy theory with no evidence to back it up, that shooting never happened and that it was staged. And then, when those families of those deceased kids spoke out and asked him to stop, because he was bringing back the pain that those families were going through, he doubled down. Let me be very clear. There's nothing smart about Alex Jones and what he did. It is called hate.
I did not say that was.
Let me finish.
Brian, you're talking too slow right now.
Okay, well, then too bad. Be patient. It's your ADD.
Okay, fine.
I let you go on a rant. There is nothing smart about what Alex Jones has done in his career, in my personal opinion. There's nothing smart about trying to get clicks by saying outrageously ridiculous and awful things that hurt people. It's why he was sued by those families. Okay? Now, if you want to also correlate to Tucker Carlson, there's nothing smart. After 22 people die in Walmart at the hands of a white supremacist, families grieving, there's nothing smart about going on your national TV show and saying the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. Make no mistake about it, Alex Jones is a piece of garbage. He is an awful human being. He is a conspiracy theorist. And intentionally trying to hurt people for clicks, there's nothing smart about that. Let's get back to our phone calls.
Again, Brian, I said I didn't agree with that.
Okay, well, you called him smart, and I think that's disgusting.
I think what he's the last couple of months, he has been spot on.
All right, well,
with his predictions and his assessments of the situation that's taking place.
Fine.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, you're entitled to your opinion.
I never once mentioned how Sandy Hook was the correct take. I didn't say that. Obviously, he was sued and he lost for a reason. I get that.
What do you mean? It's not about whether it was the correct take. It's disgusting.
Obviously, Tucker Carlson, when he said the white supremacy isn't a thing, that was a lie also. That's clearly a thing. It's clearly real in this country. There is white supremacy in the country. That's hard to deny at this point. So, now, again, I'm just saying Alex Jones has been basically spot on the last 3 months. And if you think that being a conspiracy theorist right now with what's going on in the country is a bad thing, you are wrong.
Yeah, well, he also said coronavirus was a hoax. Last I checked, 111,000 people now have died. So he hasn't been spot on the last 6 months. That's also completely unfactual. That's incorrect. 702-257-5396. Tell that to 111,000 people who lost loved ones to the coronavirus. Let's go to Mario. Mario, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, morning, guys. Hey, my thing is, and especially with JD, is that how can you feel, so strongly about history when history itself is wrong? And, we are basically showing, putting in the limelight, like how you're against, the statues and stuff. Those people own slaves. I mean, they own people, and that's what we're trying to fight against. It's like how
we're not fighting against slavery. Slavery hasn't existed in the United States for 170 years.
We're fighting the descendants of slave owners. They are the people who are nowadays are the racist people. They don't own slaves necessarily, but they're still racist. That doesn't justify them. we are fighting the past. We're still fighting the past.
Okay.
Of, you know,
if we eliminated every single
not
person,
eliminate.
No, I mean, if we eliminated every single person and the things that commemorate them that we use every single day in the United States, the state of Washington, that name would change. Jefferson City, Missouri would not exist. Mount Rushmore would not exist. The $1 bill would not exist. The $100 bill would not exist. What about the
caller
inventions?
just asked you a question.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is, it isn't reasonable. That's why it's much better. It's much better to learn from history.
Caller, I don't want to,
instead of trying to rewrite it.
Caller, I don't want to put words
and celebrating the fact that this is how far we have come as a society. And those people that owned slaves back in the 1780s or the 1820s, it was status quo at that point. They didn't know that they were they weren't breaking the law.
Let's let the
And
caller chime in.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I agree with it because I don't. But that's how it was back then.
Go ahead,
And
caller.
obviously now it is different. Times have changed.
JD, we got to let the caller chime in. Go ahead, caller.
So why can't we change? Why can't we tear that down and build up again? Why are you, or even your affiliates, you know, with the Republican Party, a lot of them feel the same way you do, you know, that they stand for those things when we are fighting against that thing that they brought or are trying to bring, which was racism. That's what was left from slavery, racist. So they couldn't own them anymore, so they could only hate them, right?
So you want to change every single thing in the United States that commemorates someone who owned a slave?
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
I mean, do you know how difficult that would be?
Well, I'm just saying, just don't put them in the limelight, like Brian was saying. And I have a bone to pick with Brian, too. Like he was saying that, why isn't there a black person on the dollar bill? Hey, that's what we are fighting against, trying to you know, hey, don't get me wrong. It could be a black, but it could also be a Hispanic, Puerto Rican.
All right, well, here's why I say that. Let me clarify with you, sir. Here's why I say that. Let me clarify. I would rather have Martin Luther King on a bill than George Washington.
Yeah, but you said someone black. You know, you went straight for a race. Don't
What about
do
the
that.
quarter
Don't,
or the nickel?
Hey, the minorities. There's a lot of us who are oppressed.
Honestly, Mauro,
I am a minority, and I understand the whole Black Lives Matter, but we are fighting racism. That's the basic thing, and that's what people are forgetting. It's not so much.
And I personally believe, okay, so let me respond. I personally believe that a guy like a Martin Luther King has enough accolades where he should be on a bill as opposed to others. That's all I'm saying.
That's okay, but you said someone black.
Martin Luther King is black. I said somebody black like Martin Luther King. That's what I said, sir. I appreciate the phone call. You made some good points. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Who do we have next? Tony? Tony, you're next on the Vegas Take. Tony, go ahead. You're next on the Vegas Take. Did we lose Tony? 702-257-5396. Robert, go.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Just want to make a little comment with all these conspiracy theories with the election coming up. And I just want to say one thing about, and you get annoyed, Brian, about so many people dying with this. But compared to the flu, not so many people died. I mean, this was a new virus. But the thing that I'm wondering about is we've got all these testing sites, and we hear every day how many tests they've found positive. You don't hear about how many total have been tested. And the other thing is, why aren't people able to get
Wait. Hold on. Yes, we do. There are reports that the government gets on a weekly basis, so you're wrong there, number one. Number two.
About how many have been tested?
Okay, hold on. Yes. Number two, there are 19 states in the last few weeks where they have more cases now. Cases are going up. So, sir, with all due respect, you're just not being factually accurate.
No. I'm not saying about that. But I'm saying is that, well, like you said, you can look it up. But all these news stations, all they report is how many cases have been confirmed. They don't want to emphasize how many have been tested. And
that's not true. That Donald Trump talked about that the other day. I don't know.
Yes, but you're not listening to me. When you go to your local news every day, we've had this many cases increase and this many people have died. But never anything about cases.
Sir, I try not to watch the local news as much as possible. Okay. All I can tell you.
Here's the other thing I wanted to say.
Yes.
It's getting easier and easier to get tested right now, correct?
I think it's easier than it was. I don't know if I'd use the term easy,
Okay.
but it's certainly
But
we're in a better spot now than we were 3 or 4 months ago. Yes.
But unless you want to spend the money, it's not easier to be tested to see if you've had it. And for some reason, they don't want that published about how many people have already had this thing and make that death toll look like nothing.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, sir. I just disagree with just about everything you said. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Al. Al, you're next on the Vegas take.
Hey, what's up, Al?
Did we lose Al? Sean, who we got next, man? 702-257. Oh, we're up against a break. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. And obviously, we're jumping on a lot of issues here. We got a little bit into the coronavirus situation. But listen, here's what we're talking about here, and I'm trying to be as fair as I can. I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care. If your name was someone who promoted slavery, if you owned human beings, I don't want to see your name on a building. I don't want to see your name on anything. I don't want to see it on a bill. I don't want to see it on a statue. I don't want to see it on a building. And if you listen to many African Americans, they'll tell you what I'm telling you. I don't speak for them, but I've spoken to a lot of them, and they agree that there should be no place for that. It promotes hate. It does not erase history. That's why we have history classes. Started at a very young age myself. And we also have parents and families, hopefully, who are educated that can tell you a little bit about the history, can tell you about slavery, can tell you about these people that owned human beings. Whether it was the norm back then or not is not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is a horrible action of owning human beings, and I don't believe those names should be on any building. I don't believe those names should be celebrated. And when you put somebody's name on a building or when you have a statue of somebody, make no mistake about it, it's not about teaching people history. You're celebrating those people. We shouldn't celebrate anybody who's racist. We shouldn't celebrate anybody in history that owned human beings. Now, we can learn about them. Got no problem with that. Whether it's a library or a book or a history class, no problem with learning about history. But there is a fine line between learning about these people and celebrating these people. And that is the point that I am trying to make on the show.